Oh, there's been a bit of radio silence recently because I've been on my holidays, and luckily I got the guys that work with me, they offered to come in and let the birds out or open them up and also put them away again at night, and then my dad's done a little bit at the weekend as well. So they've been kept on darkness, and the difference between a week is insane. They look like they're about 9 years old, really tatty, or most of them have all got like straw-like feathers poking out their heads. And there's feathers everywhere, all over the floor. You can see, obviously, this is where they've been perching and pruning or pulling them out and whatnot. So this floor's all good and dry still, which is good. There's plenty of grit, which is good. So they've done everything I've asked, and I've given them the measurements for the food, so they've done that. And we've had a bit of a WhatsApp chat group going, so I've been up to date with them every day. They've not been out since white-tip got attacked. So it's like 11-12 days now or something like that, so I think it's long enough to leave them in. It just so happened to be the weekend I was flying out, so what I did do when I got them is I just put them, I let them fly out, and they only flew for about 10-15 minutes, and they just started hanging around on the loft, which I don't want now. So I got them straight back in, fed them, and then I thought, well, give them a bit of a treat, so I put the bath out, and that is absolutely hanging now. So I'll show you. It's a bit windy outside, but so always remember to put my latch on the door because I forget things quite easily, and one day I'm just going to forget to do that. So yeah, you can see that's what it looks like after however many birds have been in it. Not all of them have been in it. Some of the bigger birds won't let the younger ones in, but that's looking pretty gross, so I'm going to clear that out now, and I'll give them another one again tomorrow, I think, but I'll probably do that outside like I normally do. There they are. Some of them still looking pretty good. The youngest ones haven't gone into molt yet. That one there looks pretty clean. That's one of the younger ones. This one here, I'm not sure, it's wet, so it's hard to tell. And that's Ryan, not Brian, looking loads better than what he was before. I can see your chest there, Ryan. Am I meant to? Who knows? Anyway, so I've given them a good scrape down, because all the perches, I didn't ask them to scrape the perches or anything like that, but it also gives me a chance to have a look and see if there's anything to be worried about, runny drop-ins or anything like that. So everything looked good. And so they're all still alive, except we've got one that Matt did mention to me. He did send me a message and said that one of them isn't looking great. It wasn't taking the feed with all the others, so I asked him to isolate it, but I didn't give him the keys to the van, which is where the crate was. And so I've got it in here. And this is a young one. I think it's one of Charlie's, and I've just fed them all, and it was moving around okay, but just not as vigorous as the others. And when I put the food down, it did like he said, it just didn't bother getting any food. But then the next day when he fed them, it did get food. So I said just keep an eye on it. But anyway, I've just fed them now, and see if I can. I've just fed them. And I put 3 troughs out because they go a bit crazy, and that one wasn't even getting involved, even though there was plenty of space. So, but it did come to my feet, so I fed it out of my hand. So I wonder if I'll ask him actually. I wonder if he's been hand feeding it. And it took some food out of my hand, but it felt a little bit weak. I grabbed it and it managed to escape, so it's got a bit of flight in it. But I picked it up anyway, and it was very tame, very timid compared to what some of the others would be. It didn't feel very strong, so I've isolated it anyway. Checked down its throat. That was a bit tricky, because I wasn't sure if it's got any coccidiosis or canker. That's the one. So I had a look at that. I couldn't see anything wrong with it. It feels a bit bony, so I don't know if it's just not getting the food as the others are. So I'm going to keep it isolated for a little bit and just give it as much food as it wants, really, until it builds up a bit of strength. I think that's all I can think to do. White-tip looks okay. Obviously she doesn't have any tail feathers, so I did let them out for a fly earlier for about 10-15 minutes, and there was probably 12 of them. I did it as soon as I got back, so I didn't film anything, but they flew around fine, but they were half flew, half didn't, which is about normal. But I don't know if white-tip bothered. I'm down to 31 birds at the moment, I think, and plus the sick one there. I can never tell, actually. I have to take photos of them to try and work out how many I've got. But anyway, that's a brief update so far. So everything's looking a bit scraggly, pretty much. It's amazing how quickly everything has grown, or how much everything has grown. 1 week away, the lilac's in full bloom. The trees are full of leaf now, or full of leaves. Even the weird, massive, giant cordyline that we've got mutant cordyline. It looks like that's about to flower, which it never has done before. So it's a bit bizarre coming back off holiday. I missed the race the weekend, and it looks like Manton won that one again, and Clipston didn't fly, but Dave did, and I think he won the Clipston. He won the Ollerton House Club result, so he came first there. Whilst you're here, if you could subscribe, that'd be great. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm like 150 off or something like that, so if you could click subscribe now, that'd be great. I am going to do a video about darkness. Somebody's asked me about it on YouTube, and so I am going to do a video about that when I know more about it myself. So I've got a basic understanding. I'm just kind of doing what I've been tutored to do so far, and then I'll make my own decision as to whether I would do that again or what I would do differently, what I think are the benefits and whatnot of it, or drawbacks. I know some people agree with it, some people don't, so I'm going to give it a try because I've already started it. I might as well finish it, and then I'll give my feedback on that, and I'll make a video about that. I think that might be quite useful, if not for me, but for you guys too. So that's coming up. I'm going to let the birds out for a bit of a fly, I think. And then I'm going to mow the lawn. Let's get you gone. Can't hang around too long. Just had a flight, which is the second fly out since I've been back off holiday, and the second in probably 2 weeks, since they were flying every day pretty much before. We're 2 missing. We've got, sorry, I think we're 5 missing. There's 2 up there, and then another 3 or 4 knocking about. I think there's 26 in there, yeah. So there's another 3. Including those 2, sorry, excluding those 2, knocking around somewhere. I know that one of those is one of the younger ones that's not been out that much, so hopefully the others will rock up. But right now I'm going to Colin's to go and pick up the other birds. I've split them off in the sections, so I've closed the section in there now, so that the new birds have got their own area with the youngest of these lot. So yeah, let's go and get those. What I've noticed is, look how good Ryan, not Brian, looks. So she's coming through the, I'm assuming it's a hen, has come through the molt really nicely so far. Really like the look of that one. And then Mush Mush is exactly the same age. Still looks a bit mushy, but Ryan, not Brian, had a completely bald neck a few weeks ago, and now it's looking really neat, so hopefully all the others will catch up. Obviously I had Ryan, not Brian, a few days or a few weeks before the rest of them, a month ahead of some of them actually, but hopefully that's a sign of things to come. So here are some of our new young birds we got from Colin. You can see them. There's one down, 1, 2, 3, 4. That slate looking one there. It's interesting actually seeing these because they are a lot smaller than obviously the older birds, but I didn't realise how much bigger my first birds had got. They grow so quickly and you don't really notice it, but you can really see that here. Like these here, these are all the young birds, but they just look absolutely beautiful, these ones. So I've got them in here in this section for now, and then in the other section we've got the rest of the birds. I haven't decided that this is how it's going to be, but all the birds in this section now, excluding the new birds, are the ones that didn't fly this morning. These were the ones that didn't really want to go out, so I assume that they're the youngest ones, and then all the ones that did fly next door. So we know that these ones in this section here are all capable of flying around. So and then I just wanted to show you a little bit of the molting process. that they're going through. And there's some particularly tatty ones. Who looks the worst? Come on, who looks pretty ragged? I mean, look at that one there. You're pretty shoddy looking, aren't you? You won't win any beauty competitions, would you? But then some of them are starting to look really nice. This one doesn't look like it's either coming through the molt or it hasn't started yet. And Ryan, not Brian, looks really good. I'm also thinking I might replace all of the easy bed soon, because obviously there's been a hell of a lot of molting going on. So I think as soon as they finish their molting, I'm going to replace all of the easy bed, because feathers get in the water, and there's just a lot of stuff in the air whenever they're flying around. So some people, when they have young birds, they prefer to keep some litter on the floor, and I think I'm of that mind as well now. It's a lot easier to keep, especially when you're working all the time, but also it exposes the birds to more germs and hopefully builds their immune system. But so far, touch wood, we haven't had any sickness issues. Just want to see your ring number. 82. So that's white tip. White tip's looking a lot better, as you can see. You wouldn't even know that you'd been hawked, would you? Back to strength. This one here, this pie, is a lovely looking bird, and saw that one flying earlier, and it's got the different colour flights, which looks really nice when that one's flying. So we're about full in here now. The other birds turned up, so I think we've got 30 of our original birds, and then we've got another 4 that we got from Colin, so we're up to 34. Obviously we've lost a few. I think we've lost, just talking to the neighbour, and he said a couple of weeks ago he saw a sparrowhawk eating a pigeon on his front garden, which would coincide exactly for when we got one missing. Obviously white tip was got by one of them, and then another one went missing, and I think that's the one that was attacked by the hawk. So annoyingly I didn't see it, I didn't spot it, couldn't do anything about it, but there we go, nothing we can do about it now. So yeah, we'll keep these guys. They're not trap training brilliantly at the moment because they've had so long off. I was shaking the tin and whistling, and they weren't too keen on coming in because they've just been eating and been stuck in here for over a week. So I've given them a fly this morning, and I'll do the same thing again tomorrow. And if they start coming through the molt like Ryan, not Brian, and Mush Mush, then and even white tip. I mean, white tip was looking really rough a few days ago, and now she's looking pretty good. So as soon as they start to come through like that, and then they hopefully come off darkness, they might start ranging. We'll do some training tosses.